What's up, fellow entrepreneurs? I'm Lamika, and this is The Real About Entrepreneurship. And your girl finally started a YouTube channel in 2022. Check that one off the list, okay? I have been putting off starting a YouTube channel for quite some time, even though I knew it was what I needed to do. So what is it that you have been putting off for so long that you want to get done in 2023? My goal for this channel is that even though you may work a 9 to 5, you can still be an entrepreneur. It is not an either or situation, okay? You can be successful at both because trust, that job will definitely help you on your entrepreneurial journey, especially when you're getting started, okay? So I'm going to be sharing with you how you can start your business. So take a look at the videos that I've provided for you to be able to get started with taking action towards starting your business in 2023. All right, let's get into it. So I said I was going to be talking about entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is my jam. I love talking about it. I love taking action towards what it is that I want to do. I love helping people take action towards what they want to accomplish in their business. And so one of the things that bothers me the most about entrepreneurship is people think it doesn't cost. It costs. It costs money. There is no way you can start a business without having some type of money. Okay. So that is the first thing that I want to address is it costs to be an entrepreneur. Okay. And so there are many ways for you to be able to afford being able to start your business and start your entrepreneurial journey. You can, save for it. There are many ways to save for it. You can do crowdfunding for it. So there are a lot of options for being able to get the money that you need to be able to begin your entrepreneurial journey. But I just want to make it real clear that it does cost to start your entrepreneurial journey. Because being an entrepreneur costs money, I do not recommend that you quit your day job. I know entrepreneurship is glamorous and everybody talks about how it's great to just be able to do what you want to do. But at the end of the day, don't quit your day job. Keep your day job, because keeping your day job, while it may take up some time, it absolutely can make your entrepreneurship journey much easier. I've done both. I've done it to where I was full-time working, and I've done it to where I was a full-time entrepreneur. And I will say, I like it when I am full-time working and I'm a full-time entrepreneur. Okay. So make sure you don't do things with cutting off your sources of income because you're so excited to get your entrepreneurial journey, or the hype around being an entrepreneur, and you're not financially prepared to be able to set yourself up for the ebbs and flows of what happens when you are an entrepreneur. Why do you want to be an entrepreneur? I don't know that I necessarily labeled myself as an entrepreneur. I just knew that there were things that I wanted to do, and I did that. And now I've come up with, or I haven't come up with, but now I've heard the term multi-passionate entrepreneur. I would consider myself a multi-passionate entrepreneur. I know you're like, what in the heck is that? I like to try different things. I love to have different businesses. That is what I love. I have Height Goddess. I have a real estate business. I also am in, I rehab mobile homes. I have owned a weight loss business. I've done so many different things. And a lot of those things, they didn't work out, but I still tried it, and you just continue to try. So I didn't necessarily see myself as an entrepreneur or label myself as an entrepreneur. I just went and did it. And so being an entrepreneur is popular right now. And so this is why I asked the question, is because entrepreneurship is hard. It is definitely hard. So what are your reasons for why you want to be in entrepreneurship? Is it because it's glamorized, or is it because it's just naturally your instinct of what it is that you want to do? What's the difference between being an entrepreneur and a business owner? Like, legitimately, I want to know, like, what is the difference between being an entrepreneur and being a business owner? So if you'll comment below and let me know what your thoughts are. I know I can Google it, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but I want you guys to tell me. So comment below. Let me know, what is the difference between being an entrepreneur and being a business owner? Okay. Anyway, my goal for being in entrepreneurship is really taking the things that I decide that are important to me and taking my ideas and bringing them to fruition. That is really my goal. Some people's goal is to make money as an entrepreneur. Now, obviously that is my goal, absolutely, to make money as an entrepreneur. But my bigger goal is knowing that I thought of something and I decided to move forward with it, and now it is a reality and people are enjoying it, they're experiencing it, and they're loving it. So that's my goal. So I've talked about being an entrepreneur. It costs money. Okay. I've talked about why do you want to be an entrepreneur? What is your goal as an entrepreneur? And the bigger part is, what are you going to do? Like, what is your plan for being an entrepreneur? You know, I talked about earlier that you don't want to, keeping your day job is essential. And so, because you need to plan out your time, like what steps are you going to take to move forward with you starting your entrepreneurial journey? And planning out your time is very important, because not only do you have a day job, but you may have a family and you have other activities that you want to do. You want to hang out with your friends and you want to do all these different things. So what plan are you going to put in place so that you can take the steps towards your entrepreneurial journey if you decided that this is the route that you want to take? So make sure that you plan what you need to do in order for you to be able to put your action steps forward towards being. The final thing that I want to share with you about entrepreneurship is understanding that pivoting is perfectly fine. It is perfectly fine to pivot in your business. I have had to pivot so many times in my business, and sometimes I thought it was like the end of the world. And I had to say, Lamika, just like, it's okay. If you want to go in a different direction, you want to go in a different direction that elevates you and takes your business to another level, it is perfectly fine to pivot. Don't be held hostage to a certain way of doing things. If you're not finding joy in it, then you do something different. One of the things that I had to pivot with Hype Goddess is when I first started out, I was creating jeans, and that was really because at that point when I created Hype Goddess, it was because I didn't have a pair of jeans. Well, when I started, I didn't want to wear jeans anymore. I was like, I really don't feel like making jeans. Like, I don't want to make that anymore. So I decided and I pivoted to go in a different direction with my business. And I always knew that if I wanted to come back to doing that, I could do that. There are so many changes with social media. You know, I am not a social media person, although I know YouTube is a social media, but social media, YouTube for me was the social media platform that I felt I was most comfortable with, but it took me forever to be okay with just putting out videos. And so I had to pivot away from knowing that I didn't need Instagram. I didn't need Facebook. I didn't have to have those businesses. I was always about having a direct connection with my customers. And for me, that was direct to consumer via email and via text messages, that I wanted to deliver my message when I could deliver my message, and not just being, waiting for the platforms to, change their algorithms and those types of things in order for my consumers or my customers to do that, to get my message. So like I said, it's okay to pivot. It's completely okay to pivot. It took me a while to grasp that, but I just want to share with you that it is completely okay to pivot. So I hope you've enjoyed this information about entrepreneurship. This is all what my channel is about, is sharing my entrepreneurial journey. I will go into my next video. I will talk about the logistics of, setting up your entity and setting up your trademark and getting an attorney and getting an accountant and those types of things. So those nuances I will get into. But at first I just want to know, do you really want to be an entrepreneur? And entrepreneurship is hard. Today, I'm talking about before you create a business entity, before you create your business bank account, business branding, or even your business name, I want to share with you 3 things to focus on when starting your business. Focus number 1 is research. You want to make sure that you're doing research online as well as you're doing research direct with your target audience by talking to your target audience. When I got started with Hype Goddess, I did my research online, but I also made sure that I got out and about and found tall women. For me, that was going to where they were. And it was very hard to find where tall women would be in one particular place. When I originally started Hype Goddess, Nordstrom Rack had these large size shoe events. And I noticed from past times from me just attending that most of the women there were tall. So I was able to go to several large size shoe events and be able to talk to tall women and get an understanding of what they were looking for. The great thing about it is I didn't have a name. I didn't have any of that. I was just doing research so that I could find out if what I thought was a problem for myself was a problem other tall women were facing. And so I did my research online as well as I did my research by talking to people. So I know we like to sit behind our computer and we research and do things like watching this YouTube video, which I am very thankful for. So go ahead and smash that subscribe button so that you can show YouTube that you like the information that I'm providing. Okay. So make sure that you don't spend a whole lot of time watching YouTube videos and watching other things, because everybody's going to have a different way of doing it, doing different things. And so that can tend to slow you down. So do the research that you need to do from behind the computer, and then be sure to go out and find your target audience and be able to talk to them. Because if you're not talking to them while you're doing research, how are you going to talk to them when it's time to make a sale? All right. So make sure you're doing that research. Focus number 2 is to make a decision and stick with it. There are many strategies out there on how to run your business, but make a decision and stick with it. When you change up your strategy or when you change up your decision, it tends to slow down your progress and your momentum, and this will get you off track towards what it is that you want to do in starting your business. So make a decision and stick with it. Focus number 3 is to take action. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know I am all about taking action. You've done the research by talking to your target audience, as well as online research to learn more about your business, and you've made a decision on the strategy of how you want to move forward with your business. It is now time to take action so that you can move to the next steps in starting your new business. All right, so let's get into it. So how important is the name you choose for your business when it comes to getting approved for loans, credit lines, and business credit? It is way more important than you think it is. And so that's what we're going to discuss today is how to choose the best business name for you to get funding. So let's talk about it. The topics that we're going to be discussing are how to avoid a business name that will get you automatically denied for credit and financing, as well as how to avoid names that make you face greater underwriting scrutiny. And we're also going to be talking about which NAICS code to choose. So the name you choose is very important when it comes to your fundability and your ability to get credit and financing. And why is because lenders and credit issuers typically look at high risk industries and they put them into 2 buckets. So you're asking, what are those 2 buckets? So the first bucket is the restricted bucket. These are absolutely not going, their lenders and creditors will absolutely not going to work with you if you fall into the restricted bucket. So if you choose a name and you name your business the wrong thing that reflects you're in one of these restricted industries, you will automatically get denied in almost all cases when you go to apply. So you want to go, okay, Lamika, well, how, what are my other options? So here are some restricted examples of industries where a lot of creditors will not lend. The one way to tip them off is in your name. So restricted industries would be things like ammunition, gaming, porn. So those are all industries. Obviously, if you're in those industries, you don't want to just call that name out automatically because it will get you restricted. So the second bucket that you don't want to be in is also in the high risk bucket where you're going to face greater underwriting scrutiny. And so the problem with lenders and credit issuers under this is you're typically going to, be pushed for a manual underwriting review. Oftentimes you'll get denied, as well as you could typically pay higher interest rates, and you could get less money than what you're expecting or what you could get if you were not in the high risk category. All right. So this is where where you want to have a business that reflects what you do, but you also want to make sure that you're choosing a business name that doesn't put you into the restricted or in the high risk categories. So this is where you want to take your time. And I'm going to share with you some resources of where you can go to look at if your business falls into the high risk categories. And if it does fall into the high risk categories, are there some subcategories that will lessen, that could potentially lessen the risk that you're in? So you absolutely want to stay out of the restricted category because that is an automatic. However, the high risk, there are potentially some options for you to choose a subcategory in there that lessens you being in that high risk category. So you're like, okay, so how do I, choose the best business name that keeps you from being restricted or a high risk? Who does that? How do I do that? So you are the person that is absolutely in charge of whether or not you are in the industry or not. So you're going to be choosing which industry that you're in. So you have complete control over your ability to be in the high risk category or the restricted category. So what you're going to do is these codes that I'm talking about, they are NAICS codes, also known as the North American Industry for Classification System. This is used by the IRS to determine what business expenses you should be choosing, or are you in line with other expenses that are being used in that particular category? That's a part of how it all got started. But what you want to do is you want to go to the IRS.gov, and I'll put a link below so that you can get to that information. But your NAICS code, industry code, and you can see here, this is what the federal government uses. And so there is a download that you can go through, and you can go through all of those subcodes. So some industries may have several subcategories, and what you want to do is choose the best category that fits your business. Yet doesn't put you in a restricted or a high risk category. Like I said, I'll be sure to put the link below so that you can go and you can look and see where your business falls, and you can make a decision on what you're going to do next. So, and speaking of what you want to do next, you want to look through the census.gov. Also, you can visit the NAICS.com, which has a list of all of these businesses. From there, you want to figure out which category and subcategory you can choose from, and choose the one that keeps you out of the restricted or the high risk category. That's basically as simply as it is. So you're ready to officially start your business. You've done your research, and now you know that this is the business that you want to move forward with. Now let's make it official. All right, so you're ready to set up your business structure. That is the first thing that you want to do to get your business set up legally. When you're choosing your business structure, you want to think about how this is going to affect your day-to-day operations, your taxes, as well as how much of your personal assets will be at risk. So the key is to strike a balance between legal protection as well as tax benefits. I have set up businesses where I have not consulted an attorney and I haven't consulted a CPA. I would suggest that you consult an attorney or a CPA so that they can set you up properly to realize those benefits of the legal protections and the tax benefits. So that's just my 2 cents, but you definitely want to set up your business structure. That is the first thing that you want to do. This next one, it is completely free, and I do mean 100% free. That is getting your EIN number, also known as your employer identification number, which identifies your business. You will need this EIN number to set up a business bank account, which we'll talk about, as well as submitting your taxes, setting up business credit. There are so many things that you're going to need the EIN number. And again, it's completely free. You spent the time and the money to hire a CPA or an attorney to help you set up your business formation. This is definitely something you can do on your own, or if you're utilizing someone else to set up your business formation, this could be included in that. But it is 100% free and something that you can do on your own by going to the IRS.gov. All right, so this next step is really simple because you've got your business formation, you've gotten your EIN number, also known as your employer identification. This next one will be simple, which is setting up your business bank account. You are officially a legal business, and now you want to separate your business and your personal account by setting up a business bank account. I will talk about, I know you're thinking like, all right, so I got this business bank account, but how am I going to fund it? I will come back and talk about how to fund your business, as well as I will share with you some of my favorite banks and credit unions that I like, that I think are good for small businesses. So go ahead and set up that business bank account, and congratulations on getting your legal business set up. If you're going into business with someone, you definitely want to have a partnership agreement. And this is just information. I suggest that you seek legal advice. This is not legal advice. I must put that disclaimer out there. I just want to share with you my experiences as I have had business partners in the past, and some of those did not have partnership agreements, and I learned from those lessons. And again, this channel is about sharing the information. So I want to share with you 7 of the things that I think you definitely, should talk to your attorney about, and making sure that you have in a partnership agreement. The first thing that you're going to want to think about are the contributions. And contributions are not just money, it's also time. And so you need to lay out what the monetary contributions are going to come from each partner, as well as what does the time look like each partner is going to put into the business. Because you want to make sure that you get all of these things up front when you guys are in love. As I said in my previous video, be sure to check that out. Is you want to make sure that when you guys are in love, you lay out all of these things. And so money and time are definitely 2 things that go into the contributions of a business. And a lot of people typically only think about the money aspect, but the time aspect is just as important as the money. So make sure you discuss the contributions. Something else that you'll definitely want to think about are distributions, meaning how will you distribute the profits of the business? We're all in it to make money, and we want it to sustain us. So you want to make sure you address how the profits will be split, as well as if someone's going to take a salary, who's going to take a salary first, and what that process looks like. So make sure you discuss the distributions, because I've been there and it's definitely a challenge. You want to make sure that you address this up front. Be sure to discuss distributions. So what happens if you're in partnership with someone and one partner wants to sell or another partner wants to bring on new partners? What do you do about that? This is definitely something that you want to address in your partnership agreement, and that is ownership. Is what ownership will each of the partners have, and what happens when some of those things, like I just mentioned, if you want to bring on new partners, if one partner wants to leave, how do you protect yourself? You may even want to think about signing a non-compete. So this is definitely something that you want to think about from an ownership perspective when you are discussing your partnership agreement with your attorney. Decision making. I can't stress enough how important it is for you to set up the structure of how decisions will be made in the business. Whether it's day-to-day decisions, a big decision that needs to be made in the business, because you and your partner will not always agree, and you already need to have a structure in place prior to the disagreement or the decision of what you need to do needs to happen. So make sure you talk about who will make the decision on a day-to-day basis, or when there are certain situations that happen, who's going to make the decision, who will be the tiebreaker to make the decision, and what you need to do to go forward with business. Because we know we don't always agree, but if we have a partnership agreement, that is definitely something that you want to have in that. So be sure to talk to your attorney about how to handle decision making. All right, so this next one, no one wants to talk about it in the beginning, but you must. And that is dispute resolution. In the event that it goes sideways, how are you going to handle the dispute resolution of the business? Are you going to go to mediation? And also remember that if there is a lawsuit filed, that is public record. So you want to make sure that you address in the partnership agreement how you all will handle dispute resolution before any of it goes sideways. Sometimes the unexpected happens, and that's what makes business so exciting to me, and also unnerving at the same time. And so critical developments is something that you also want to address in your partnership agreement. You want to think about things. What happens in the event that you get sick, or a partner passes away, how are you going to handle the partnership? Also, what happens if one partner wants to retire? Also, what is in place in the what is something that can happen to modify the partnership agreement? There are certain things that happen that allows for a modification of the partnership agreement, and you all need to put that in there. So make sure you discuss this with your attorney so that you can talk about the critical developments that may happen in your business. If you and your partner cannot agree on the future of your business, you may decide to dissolve the business or to end the partnership. So, what do you have to do in order to legally dissolve the business? This is something you want to address in your partnership agreement, and you want to talk about when you're setting up your partnership agreement with your attorney. Often asked, how do you fund a business? It is a very popular question. It is one that I asked myself when I first started, and I had to figure it out. So I want to share with you 3 ways to be able to fund your new business. All right, so let's talk about how to fund your new business. I first want to start this off by saying, if you have a day job, do not quit, okay? You can go to another video where I've talked about this, but I am definitely a believer in not leaving your day job or not leaving your job when you are starting a business, and to use that job as a way to help you fund that business. It will make it so much easier. And I say that because I've had experience with it. When I started Hi Goddess, I was working a full-time job, and it did a whole lot for me, not just from a capital standpoint, but I've always had jobs that I've traveled. And so when I was first building Hi Goddess in 2007, I was traveling a lot, and it allowed me to travel around and to be able to meet people that will become my future customers, to meet with my suppliers. And these were all things that I didn't necessarily have to pay for because I was already there doing business. And so a lot of the places where I needed to go to have my, at that time, jeans made was where I was having to travel in order for me to do work. I was in places like Seattle, in Chicago, in New York, in LA. And there are a lot of tall women there, and I was able to make connections with a lot of them. So there are so many reasons that I suggest that you keep your day job. So throughout this whole conversation, I will be talking about, make sure that if you do have a day job, don't leave it. Use it as a source of income to make it easier, or use it as a source to be able to fund your business. The first way that I know of to fund your business would be self-funding it. When I first started Hi Goddess, I self-funded it because a lot of the things that I know now, it took me forever to figure them out, and I didn't have the information that I have now. But I still would suggest you self-funding it, because this allows you to operate efficiently and to be able to get some sort of working capital so that you know what you're going to be doing in the beginning. Ways that you can self-fund it, or ways that you can, raise the money to be able to self-fund it. I've done the 100 days. I did a video where I talked about the 100 days challenge, where you can save $5,000 in 100 days. You can save $10,000 in 100 days. And I've done both, where I've saved the $5,000 and I've saved the $10,000. And that made a big difference in me wanting to start a Turo business. Now, I didn't start the Turo business, but I did save the money, and I was able to buy a car for cash because I had done the 100 days method in thinking that I was going to move forward with doing a Turo business. So self-funding is definitely a way, and having a job definitely helps you being able to self-fund a project or self-fund a new business. All right. So the second way to be able to fund a new business is through business credit. Yes, you can get business credit with a new business. I've made a video on how to set up a new business. Be sure to check that out. I'll be sure to listed in the notes so that you can go back and look for what you need to do in order to set up your business. But business credit is definitely a way for you to be able to fund your new business. Now, the important thing about business credit is that you have to have your personal credit in order. I am not one to say how to start a business with bad credit, because it presents so many challenges that if you will just fix your personal credit first, obviously you can still work on getting, the business if you're able to fund it. Like I said before, self-funded. But if you are able to get business credit, in order for you to get business credit, you've got to work on your personal credit. So get your personal credit in line so that you can get business credit. Now, if you've already got great credit, good credit, great credit, then business credit is definitely an option for you to be able to fund your new business. And I will be doing other videos on funding your business with business credit. And my goal with this channel is to bring you on people who can actually help you do what you want to do. So I will be bringing someone on that has helped me build my business credit so that you can do the same thing. But before you build that business credit, make sure that your personal credit is in order so that you can use business credit in order for you to start your new business. So that is the second way. First way is through personal funds. The second way is through business credit. And then the third way is through crowdfunding. I have done crowdfunding before, and the crowdfunding was actually great. So the way that I recommend crowdfunding, especially is if you have a products-based business, crowdfunding is great. I used it. I was well into Hype Goddess when I when I came across, crowdfunding, and I used the Kickstarter platform for my crowdfunding campaign. And I think I was able to raise a little over $20,000 for the project that I was working on at the time. And that was to introduce a maxi dress. I wish I had done it way sooner, but I'm glad I did it when I did. And so it was a lot of work. If you're going to do a crowdfunding campaign, it does take a lot of work in preparing from a marketing perspective, because it is all about letting your audience know that you have this campaign going out there. Please don't think that because you put it on the Kickstarter platform or you put it on these other platforms that you're going to be able to raise the money. It was a lot of work planning out the video for it and doing the marketing for it. And I had already built a email list. So I had a large email list that I was able to send to, because I had already been in business for quite a while before I actually did a Kickstarter campaign. So if you're going to raise funds for a new business utilizing a crowdfunding campaign, then you definitely want to start building your email list or your text list, and you want to start doing marketing, and preferably marketing where you're able to communicate with your audience when you want to. Because things like while Instagram and Facebook and those types of things are really good, you don't know if people are able to see your post. So if you're starting to market for your business, then I suggest you start building a list, because you can take that information and then you can use it to be able to build your crowdfunding for your crowdfunding campaign. So there are 3 ways for you to fund it. You can self-fund it, you can do business credit, and you can do crowdfunding. And I've done all 3 of them, and they all work. It just really depends on what type of business that you're starting and where you are in that business. Like I said, with crowdfunding, there are some things that you've got to do in advance of doing crowdfunding. So it's technically not startup money, but if you want to now proof of concept, because you've done the basics, you've created, for me, I had already created a maxi dress, but I wanted to see if this particular maxi dress would sell. And if I could get them in stores, then that is what I was utilizing the crowdfunding campaign for. So be sure to check out the other videos that I have, and you can link to that. If you need to set up your business, go ahead and watch that video right here. And if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comment section below. And I hope that answers your questions on how to get funding for your business. I wanted to, as we go into 2023, I've looked over some of the things that have allowed me to accomplish the goals that I set out for myself. And I've always been a good networker. I've always known that networking was powerful. And I won't say I've been a good networker, but I've always known that networking was the key. And so I looked at how I was networking because I wasn't getting the results that I desired. And when I looked at how I was networking and what role I played in not getting the results that I wanted, and I identified, some of the things that I thought may have been that, it has made a world of difference. So I just wanted to share that. Look at how you're networking. If you're not networking, understand that networking gets you to the next level, or it gets you started. Being connected with the right people and asking the right questions when you get in the right groups or around the right people. And one of the ways that I adjusted my networking is how I looked at the mentorships and the programs that I joined. I made sure that the mentorships that I joined, there was a component of being able to network, not just with the people that were in the course or the people that were in the mentorship, but the people that were putting on the mentorship. It was important for me to have them not just look at me as someone that is in the mentorship, but also someone they could connect with and brought a value to the mentorship, which has allowed me to be able to build off of those relationships. I actually got a phone call or had a phone call here not too long ago with someone that is in a course/mentorship program with me. And the person that is their mentorship program actually mentioned her to me and suggested that we connect. And those were the types of things that I was looking for, where it was a situation where the course or mentorship that I was involved in, and I'm going to say mentorships because a lot of times the courses is kind of like you just buy the course and you don't really have any interaction with the people that created the course, unless there was a Facebook group or something like that. So I'll make sure I tell the differences between a course and a mentorship. So typically a course is something that you buy and you really don't have a whole lot of interaction. Whereas with a mentorship, you are more so afforded the ability to interact with other people in the mentorship, especially if it's a group mentorship and not necessarily a one-on-one. And then you have the ability to interact with the person that is actually your mentor, depending on kind of how that's set up. So I looked at that as more so as not just them teaching me something, but I also brought a lot of value to the mentorship. And I wanted to be in a situation where I could learn, and obviously I could share what I've learned. And the mentorships that I chose in 2022 have been phenomenal. And my goal is to be able to share those mentorships with you all on my channel by bringing on the people that it's their mentorships. And I'll give you this information so that you can check them out. Obviously, I talk about obviously the overarching of entrepreneurship on my channel. And I am specifically obviously with Hype Goddess. That is my lifestyle brand for tall women. And what I found is that there are a lot of mentorships for online businesses, where it's from a coaching perspective and that kind of thing. But if you have a physical product, it tends to be a little bit harder to find a mentor, and to find a coach for that. And so I have identified someone that, I have hired to help me grow my business, of Hype Goddess. And I plan to bring her on, and her name is Jane Hamill. Be sure to check her out. I plan to have her on on my channel so that, on a live, so that we can interact and ask questions. And then I also talk about my mobile home business. And with my mobile home business, I hired 2 coaches/mentors for me to be able to get in the mobile home business. And, obviously I got in through wholesaling, but then I identified that that was where I wanted to be. So I hired another coach to help me broaden it and it not just be an investing, but it actually become a business. And so I hired Calvin Ahia. You can definitely check him out. He will be live on my channel in January, and he gave me the verbiage for wholesaling mobile homes. And that's where I learned that from. And I'm going to be bringing him onto the channel. And then I also hired John Fedro, and John Fedro has a mobile home formula investing, and you can find him on here on YouTube, which is how I found him. And he provided me so much information for me to be able to really get one of my first deals done prior to ever hiring him. He answered questions, and he puts this out there for you to send him an email, and he will answer the questions. And so I took him up on what he said. You know, I was just kind of like, okay, well, he said to email him and he would respond. And I will say I was quite surprised when he responded. And he actually responded with useful information, and he wasn't trying to sell me on being a part of his program. Like, he legitimately answered my question with like, here are your next steps. Here's what you want to think about. Hey, and email me back if you have any, additional questions. And so I ended up hiring John Fedro as my mentor for my mobile home business, to help me grow my mobile home business. And being a part of his mentorship has allowed me to build relationships, to build networking relationships that are looking to shape up to be what I'm looking for. So I'm excited about that. And then the other mentorship that I joined, that I actually found on YouTube as well, is the Radical Marketer. I had no idea what this mentorship program was going to be about. It could have been a complete failure, but I knew that it wouldn't be, because the information that I had learned from the Radical Marketer on his YouTube channel, and I had implemented from his YouTube channel, I knew that I knew it had to be valuable just based off of the information that he gave on his YouTube channel. So I joined the Radical Marketer mentorship. It has proven to be an awesome mentorship. I had a live with Being Real Real Estate. You can find him on YouTube as well. He is a part of the Radical Marketer mentorship. And I had him on live talking about how to fund your real estate deals. So it has been some awesome networking. And so I just wanted to share that when you are looking to start your entrepreneurial journey, or looking to start your business, look at it from a networking perspective and know the value that you bring, and not just looking at what this person or the course or the person that's running the course as if they're just giving you information, but know that I am bringing information, and I need to make sure that I join a mentorship or I join a program where they are going to network with me in order to elevate what it is that I am looking to do. So I'm excited about, these programs, and definitely check them out. I will be sure to put the information below to the names of the people and the groups and the YouTube pages that I have mentioned in this video. But they have definitely been of value in me growing my endeavors as an entrepreneur and me being able to move forward in it. So I look forward to bringing you these people in 2023. We've got some live interviews already lined up, already scheduled, that we will be kicking off in January to help you build your networking, because you do have to pay to play. Okay. You can watch these videos on YouTube and they will only get you so far. But at some point, you will have to pay to play, or pay to be in the room, and pay to network in the right circles. So, YouTube University is great, but at some point, you're going to have to pay the price of tuition to get into the right rooms. And I will be sharing that information freely with you in 2023, in hopes that it will help you faster to get to the growth that you're looking for on your entrepreneurial journey in building your businesses. And so I look forward to serving you guys with that information. So have an amazing 2023. Make sure you are planning out your vision boards. Be sure to check out my video where I'm talking about how to create your digital vision board. And I look forward to seeing you guys in 2023. Until next time, peace.